Good evening. My name is Sister Ann Monica Bubser, and I'm honored to work with the Sisters of IHM Foundation to bring you our 2020 IHM Sisters Celebration. Our event may look a bit different this year, but we are still celebrating our IHM Sisters, and we're here to honor Mary Carroll and Peter Canton of Scranton. We welcome you virtually to keep us as safe as possible. Our dear retired sisters are free from the COVID virus. Thanks for the wonderful care they receive at the IHM Center and the Pascucci family, Our Lady of Peace residents. Our award program will be a real celebration in many ways. We celebrate our IHM Sisters' 175th anniversary of our founding, and we honor and give thanks to our elderly sisters for their lives of dedicated service. We celebrate Mary Carroll and Peter Canton, whose lives of faith and service exemplify the true IHM spirit of joyful, loving service to others. I hope you enjoy our program and support our foundation's efforts to raise funds for the retired IHM Sisters. You may support us at www.sistersofIHM.org/Sisters Celebration 2020. Our hostess for this evening is Sister Mary Alice Jacquinot, IHM, President of St. Joseph Center in Scranton.
Thank you, Sister Ann Monica. When asked a few months ago if I would serve as MC for the IHM Foundation dinner, like you, I never expected this format. The COVID-19 pandemic is teaching us many lessons, and adaptability is just one of them. Although this is not the setting we would wish for this annual dinner, wouldn't we rather be visiting with one another, enjoying delicious appetizers, commenting on summer's heat and humidity together, admiring the beautiful view from Marywood's Nazareth Student Center, and catching up with friends and family? But here we are, and we will make the best of it for sure. Although we are not able to enjoy all of the aspects associated with the annual IHM Foundation celebration, you will, in this video, experience some of those that are most important. Thank you for joining in, logging on, for caring enough to participate in the format easiest for you to view the IHM Foundation Annual Dinner Celebration and 2020 Spirit of IHM Award presentation. What we hope to communicate in our time together is our appreciation that we have as IHM Sisters for our benefactors. Yes, because of the generous support you provide and how it enables us to continue, but also because you represent the relationships which we value so very much. Among you are our former students, former teachers, former IHM sisters, colleagues in ministry, childhood friends, classmates, or lifelong friends. You may be our loving family, parents, sisters, brothers, aunts, cousins, nieces, and nephews, who also share a deep commitment to the IHM congregation. Each year at the IHM Foundation dinner, I am always reminded of how deep and diverse these connections are. I might have a moment while at the dinner thinking, oh, I didn't expect to see so-and-so here. And yet that I remember, well, so-and-so is a colleague of such and such sister, or so-and-so is related to such and such sister, a deep sense of our connections. Another outcome of the pandemic is an increased awareness of appreciation for the relationships which keep us grounded and continue to enhance our lives. So please know that you are remembered in prayer and held in love. In the next 30 minutes or so, you will hear thoughts shared by IHM sisters, IHM Foundation board members, and previous Spirit of IHM Award recipients. In their words, you will hear more about the ways the IHM Foundation has assisted the congregation to care for our members so that they can age as they have lived, with dignity and grace. You are already likely aware that 2020 marks the 175th anniversary since the foundation of the Congregation of the Sister Servants of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Once again, how and when we celebrate will be modified. But now, with images, photos, words, and song, the congregation's history will be showcased in this video. Finally, and most importantly, the Spirit of IHM will be awarded to Mr. Peter and Mrs. Carol Canton of Music, Pennsylvania. You will learn more about Peter and Mary Carol and how they have embraced IHM values in their family, at work, and with their community service. At this time, I would like to introduce to you Sister Ellen Maroney, IHM. As the president of the Congregation of the Sister Servants of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, Sister Ellen extends a warm welcome and heartfelt thank you on behalf of all IHM sisters.
Good evening, and welcome to all who join us virtually this evening for our 7th annual IHM Sisters Celebration. We usually, as you know, hold this event at Marywood University's Nazareth Hall with several hundred people attending. The energy and spirit among all gathered is incredible, and it continues throughout the evening. This year is a bit different. Because of COVID-19, we can't have large gatherings, and the social distancing and the wearing of masks limit the ways we can celebrate such a wonderful part of our IHM story. But the pandemic has led us to think differently, to be more creative. And so I welcome you this evening to our very first virtual celebration of this important event and our 2 special honorees. We may be physically at a distance, but because of these 2 wonderful honorees, our joy and spirit are alive and well in hundreds of homes of our IHM sisters and our many friends and benefactors. In fact, I'm pretty sure the entire East Coast of the United States is watching this evening. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to have 2 such wonderful, dedicated, and inspiring people as Mary Carol and Peter Canton as our special honorees this evening. In truth, they need no introduction, for they are mainstays in our community. Both met the IHMs very early in their lives. We might say then that that's the reason they became successful, caring, and committed leaders in our society. But that would be shortchanging the role of their families, their own strengths and values, and their deep faith in God. Mary Carol and Peter come from a strong, close-knit family unit that stressed faith, integrity, and a sense of responsibility to help those who do not have the same opportunities or abilities as they were given. Their lives have embodied compassion and respect for others, and they have passed that same commitment along to their children and their families. Their volunteer efforts, leadership, and contributions on behalf of numerous Scranton area nonprofits, and in particular, our IHM-sponsored ministries, including St. Joseph Center and Marywood University, deeply embody our IHM core values. We are honored and blessed to have Mary Carol and Peter as the 2020 recipients of the Spirit of IHM Award. I'd like now to say a few words of gratitude. Gratitude to God, first of all, who has blessed us all with countless gifts throughout our lives, and gratitude for the vision, courage, and faith of so many IHM women who for the past 175 years have served God's people. The example and commitment of our foundress, Teresa Maxis, and those who have followed have guided our paths to this day. And so it is their spirit, their courage and vision that we also honor tonight. We had hoped to be able to celebrate our 175th anniversary with many special events during the course of this year, but we've had to change those plans too. But for sure, when all is safe again, we will have a true IHM celebration with our sisters, associates, benefactors, and friends that will bring us all together again. There are so many others I want to particularly thank in the name of IHM. I am so very grateful to Sister Ann Monica, the Executive Director, and all the officers and members of the IHM Foundation Board who oversee this event every year. This foundation was formed in 2013 by a group of women and men who simply decided they wanted to give back. They wanted to do something for the IHMs who had taught them and help them in their formative years. We cannot thank them enough for their thoughtfulness, generosity, and commitment throughout these years. I also want to thank the many committee people who have helped arrange this virtual platform for our event this year. Their energy and creativity is amazing, as you will see in tonight's program. A very special thanks to Sister Ann Monica and her staff and volunteers in the IHM Development Office for their help, too. Of course, on behalf of the entire IHM congregation, I want to express our deep gratitude to the many sponsors and benefactors who contribute to this event and who are so very generous to us in so many ways every single day. It is your efforts and your partnership which give us the support we need to live our vision into the future. We cannot thank you enough because we could not continue our work without your help, and we never forget that. We miss your physical presence here with us this year, but we know and carry your spirit of love and support in our hearts always. We IHMs have always known that we do our mission of service to those most in need only in collaboration with our lay brothers and sisters. That is where we find God each day, with you and through you. You support and share in our dreams, for they are your dreams too. You inspire us to continue, and we are eternally grateful. And so, as I welcome all of you to this special event, I would like to conclude my remarks with a prayer of gratitude for God's many blessings. Ever generous God, who has called each of us by name, we thank you for your presence among us. We ask for your continued blessing on all doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers who provide comfort and care for those suffering from the COVID-19 virus, and on all those who work to find a remedy for this virus. We thank you for the many blessings you have bestowed upon our IHM congregation throughout our 175-year history, and ask your continued guidance that we may be always open to your call to go and be where the need is. We give gratitude for Mary Carroll and Peter Canton and all our benefactors and friends who have shared their gifts of presence and support with us throughout our history. May they be blessed 100-fold with your gentle and abiding love and that of family and friends always. Generous God, bless all who support our IHM congregation in so many different ways. May we be ever mindful of those who are less fortunate, those who go without food and shelter. May we never forget that you are with us and sustain us even in this difficult time, and may our hearts and thoughts be a blessing to you in return. And so again, I thank each and every one of you, and let us now continue with this very special program this evening. Thank you.
All We shall sing of God's goodness. We shall sing of God's goodness. God delights in the faithful ones. God delights in the faithful ones. Oh, taste and see. Taste and see how good God is our God. Come and praise the wonders which God provides. Come and delight in the richness of our God.
Our lives are rooted in God, the one to whom we belong. God's love is forever.
God's love is forever.
God is faithful from age to age.
God is faithful from age to age. Oh, taste and
Oh, taste and see
how
the goodness of God.
come and praise the
Wonders which God provides.
come and delight in the richness of our God.
Oh, taste and see.
Oh, taste and see. Come and see the wonders of your life.
Oh, come and delight.
Oh, come and
delight. Come and delight in the richness of our God.
Just a few years ago, the Sisters of IHM Foundation was formed. In 2014, the foundation began the annual dinner celebration and presentation of the Spirit of IHM Award. Through dinner sponsorships, fundraising, and networking, thousands of dollars have been raised to support the IHM Retirement Fund. Founding and current board members will share with you their thoughts on why creating the Sisters of IHM Foundation was necessary, what inspired them to take action then, and how they have remained motivated now to continue to support its growth, as well as to learn about the many ways the IHM Foundation impacts the congregation.
It has been my privilege to serve on the IHM Foundation Board since its inception in 2013. What began as an effort to raise funds to get the sisters a few little extras with the summer social blossomed into an incredibly successful annual event. And I know why. Not because we are fundraising savants, but because of you. You were so very grateful for what the sisters brought to our lives, and this was a chance to return the favor. Early in May, I had the opportunity to speak to Sister Mary LaFarfur. Even during this trying time, Sister's optimism and acceptance of life was a gift I will always treasure. I am so happy we can celebrate together, even in this different way. And I am delighted to extend my most sincere congratulations to Mary Carol and Peter. They are truly the embodiment of the IHM spirit.
Good evening. My name is Tim McMullen. I currently serve as president of the IHM Foundation Board. On behalf of the board, I would like to congratulate our 2020 Spirit of the IHM Award recipients, Peter and Mary Carol Canton. Peter and Mary Carol have long been both beneficiaries of the IHM Spirit, which is rooted in God and community, as well as supporters of all the great things that the IHM sisters do each and every day. The Cantons share a great love for the IHMs, this region, and a deep desire to give back, specifically to Scranton area nonprofit organizations, and more importantly, to IHM-sponsored ministries. The Cantons will now join a storied list of past Spirit Award winners and should know that their lives are truly reflective of the foundational principles of humility and sacrifice of self, which are rooted in the IHM Spirit Award. Once again, congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Canton. I would like to thank the IHM sisters for allowing me and my fellow board members to serve them and, of course, the IHM Foundation Board in our mission of caring for the needs of the retired sisters. The creation of this board was incepted by IHM friends some 6 years ago after inquiring about ways we could help the retired sisters. Many of those board members, who have been responsible for raising over $350,000 over the past several years, still sit on the board today. So thank you to John Murray, past president of the board and current treasurer, Michael McGrath, vice president of the board, Nottingill Martin, secretary, Alexandra Priate, board member, Robert Brown, board member, Sister Ellen Maroney, president of the IHM congregation, Sister Ann Monica Bubser, executive director of development of the IHM congregation, and Sister Cor Immaculatum, board member. Let me end by saying the annual IHM Spirit Award dinner held every August is your chance to simply say thank you to the sisters. Northeast Pennsylvania's Communion of Catholics is home to a network of churches and schools and organizations and dearly held practices, traditions, and beliefs directly attributable to the teachings and work of the IHM sisters over the past 175 years. That needs to be honored and appreciated. Thank you so much and have a wonderful night.
The IHM sisters are very grateful for the opportunity to serve our God in our ministries throughout these many years. We have been gifted with our vocations in service to God through our special calling in education, healthcare, parish ministries, and spiritual development. we have given joyfully and have been blessed with so much. Your friendships and mutual relationships throughout the years are signs of God's gifts, and we are blessed and transformed by the outpouring of kindness. It is an honor for us to thank you, our faithful friends, students, colleagues, and family, for blessing us when we are in need. The support for our sisters currently in ministry, as well as for our dear retired sisters, is a gift that empowers our mission and serves in so many ways. Let's hear from some of our sisters as they reflect on their gratitude.
I am very grateful every day for all that we have here, for all that I had all my life. I don't mean that we lived in luxury, because we didn't. But the good things of life are not the material things. As you get older, however, you do need certain comforts, and many people don't have them, I know that. All our needs are well taken care of, and we are blessed in so many ways, so many ways. The staff people here are so good to us, so attentive, meeting our every little need that we have. And they're so generous and good about it.
I really appreciate so much all of the generosity of the benefactors. And our ministry here at Our Lady of Peace is a prayer ministry. And so our benefactors are probably, in my mind, the number one priority, because without them and without you, I would not be able to enjoy this wonderful place. All of us would not be able to enjoy it. And so I thank each one from the bottom of my heart, and each one of you each day is remembered in my prayers. And if you have a special intention at any time, if you send it to me, Sister Mary knew it, I'd be more than happy to make that particular intention for you.
Our retirement home is lovely, and the care of our sisters is of high quality, compassionate, and engaging. Through your ongoing assistance, our sisters are able to receive the medical attention needed and live in a safe and happy home environment. The sisters enjoy the many extras that make their lives fulfilled and engage with their fellow sisters and with the local community. They pray together, celebrate together, and are challenged in keeping current with our world and our church. The IHM sisters thank you for your friendship through the years. Your support for them goes beyond repairs and recliners, parties and pretzels, cookouts and trips out. All these are gifts to us from God through you. You are always in our prayers. Thank you, and God bless you.
In the living water, we have become one body in the Lord. Oh, love of God, gather us, amor de Dios, haznos uno, and we may share the gifts we are given para construir la comunidad.
Hi everybody, it's PJ Carlesimo out here in Seattle, Washington, and even though I'm pretty far away from the Scranton area, I love to stay in touch with the goings-on back home, particularly with regards to the IHM sisters. They gave me my start at Chapel and Cathedral Grammar Schools many years ago, and I was so happy to hear that Mary Carol and Peter are being honored for all they've done over the years, their generosity to the various nonprofits in the area. And Mary Carol, for you got your bachelor's and your master's from the good sisters at Marywood, and I'm sure a lot of the lessons you learned from them you passed on to your students over your wonderful 39-year career teaching in the Scranton School District. I'm so proud of you and what you do to continue to enable the sisters to do their great work. I can't think of two more worthy recipients for the 2020 Spirit of IHM Award. Congratulations, well done.
The IHM sisters have been a part of my life from my earliest days as a Marywood kindergarten student. I attended St. Mary's of Mount Carmel grade school in Dunmore under the care of the IHM nuns. From there, I returned to Marywood and received an excellent high school and college education. The nuns dedicated their lives to ensuring that we had an unshakable foundation in the Catholic faith. They taught us well in every subject, including the classics, music, and my favorite subject, art. The IHM sisters were mentors and leaders throughout my life and had a strong influence on the person I became. For their lifetimes of service and sacrifice on behalf of the young people in their care, they deserve our unending thanks and support.
The IHM congregation was and is an extension of my family. My roots are with the sisters. I grew up with the sisters. I learned from them, prayed with them, sang with them, and laughed and cried with them. My oldest sister, Sister Mary Pio, entered the IHM congregation when I was 5. I have many childhood memories of visiting days in the Mother House and on the Marywood campus. As a 5-year-old, the Mother House was an amazing place with endless hallways and staircases. We lived close to the campus, so on the unfortunate night of the Mother House fire, we came to watch and pray. Our parents gave my siblings and I the gift of a Catholic education. My 2 sisters and I graduated from St. Mary's in Dunmore and Marywood Seminary, and my 2 sisters received their degrees from Marywood College, now the university. Clearly, we have IHM blood in our veins. So what's next? How do I thank the sisters for giving me a foundation in life? A foundation that helped keep me on track, especially when I needed it most. So what can I do to make a difference? One way is to support the sisters in their retirement and elder care, which is why we are together tonight. For me, this started by supporting Our Lady of Peace residents. Another way is in keeping the IHM congregation's charism alive through the sisters' spirit of joy, love, service, and hope. Supporting an IHM future is supporting their ministries and growth projects. To Mary Carol and Peter Canton, tonight's honorees, I would like to offer my congratulations and thanks for your commitment to and embodiment of the IHM spirit and your life of helping those in need. And finally, to the sisters, we celebrate you on the 175th anniversary of the IHM congregation, and we thank you for all you have given to so many. Keep us in your prayers as we will you in ours. God bless you all.
certainly honored to be here and be honored with this award of the IHM Spirit. The IHM Spirit certainly epitomizes selflessness and commitment to your fellow man, to your community, and I'm certainly honored to be just a piece of the thread of that fabric of the IHM spirit and commitment. Absolutely. The IHM sisters have always been a part of my life and as well as my family's life, having educated us both in schools and CCDs, and the tireless compassion. And I'd say that if someone were to ask me one word to describe my impression of the IHM, it's dignity. Dignity in their lives, how they live their lives, the simplicity coupled with their compassion is something that's always influenced me.
I think it's all the same thing, I would say. That, the education becomes the global community because that's where it starts. And the Catholic input right from first grade, the IHM understanding of supporting children, educating children, then just flourishes out to the world, becomes global.
The Sisters of the IHM Spirit Award is given each year to deserving honorees who by their life and ministries exemplify the values taught and embodied by the IHM Sisters. A life thus impacted by the IHM Spirit inspires others to honor and give back to those sisters, now elderly and in need.
The IHMs have pretty much always been a part of our lives from the time we started first grade. And they handed us our first catechism, the little blue book. I'm sure many of you remember it, but that was what laid the foundation of our Catholic education. We were taught the Ten Commandments, we were taught the sacraments, and then we were taught that these are not just lessons, but we need to follow up with actions. We need to exemplify our faith. When we were little and we got those little boxes that you filled with pennies for the pagan babies. I mean, it was so exciting to take your box home and to bring it back. And I guess I just got a real sense of satisfaction because I filled the box with pennies. And then, you were giving your envelopes. You were asked to participate in the May crowning. So I believe that faith and service became an active part of who we were and our education.
You look at everything that is happening around us and you say to yourself, if we don't teach our children what the IHM nuns has taught us, the world is not going to go ahead and ever be the same. So they are needed more now than ever.
I thank you all for being with us and joining in the program. Thank you to all of our sponsors and donors who have already shared with us in so many ways. We are richer for your gifts and stronger for your sharing in the IHM vision and ministry. If you would like to share your financial support for our retired sisters, please visit our website, www.sistersofIHM.org/Sisters Celebration 2020.
Earlier, I spoke about how much we value relationships, the connections that bring us all together, and the unity we feel as we support the IHM congregation. The next segment gives me a chance to revisit a valuable relationship from my childhood, as well as a current relationship that I value. I have the privilege of introducing Mr. Peter and Mrs. Mary Carol Canton. Everyone agrees that one of the most memorable experiences in a child's life is grade school. That is where and when I first met Mrs. Canton at Kennedy School. As children in South Scranton, we were lucky to attend Kennedy School and spend our school days with such nurturing teachers like Mrs. Canton. Later, I would again meet Mrs. Canton when I attended Bishop Klonowski and Bishop Hannon high schools, where her daughters Anne and Colleen were also students. My connection with Peter is more current. For nearly 20 years, Peter has served as director of the board for St. Joseph Center. Typically, I spend the last full weekend of July with both of them as they chair the raffle basket booth at the St. Joe's Summer Festival. Many of their booth volunteers were also Kennedy School teachers. While those are my personal connections, I also want to provide a more formal introduction. The 2020 Spirit of IHM Award is presented to Mr. Peter and Mrs. Mary Carol Canton. They are recognized by the IHM Foundation for living the values set forth by the IHM congregation, which is exemplified in their personal lives, commitment to their professions, with their family life, and in the broader community as volunteers. Mary Carol grew up in North Scranton and first met the IHM sisters who taught religious education in her parish of St. Vincent de Paul. She was delighted to earn a scholarship to attend Marywood to fulfill her dream of becoming an elementary school teacher. For decades, she served as a teacher in the Scranton School District. Peter, also from North Scranton, is the owner of Canton Realty Company in Scranton. He studied at Lackawanna College and earned certifications in real estate appraisal. Peter and Mary Carol celebrated their 55th wedding anniversary last year with a family celebration, which was fitting since Peter and Mary Carol are all about family. Daughter Anne is married to Gerald Weller, and daughter Colleen is married to Tom Devine. Peter and Mary Carol enjoy their 4 grandchildren, always making time to attend their school activities and sports events over the last years. Mary Carol and Peter have prioritized community service in their personal and professional lives as one expression of living their faith. They are active parishioners of St. Anne's. Both have committed time and energy to volunteer service at St. Joseph Center, Peter as a board member and together chairing the Turkey Trays booth at the Summer Festival, one of the most successful, which has earned Mary Carol the nickname of the Basket Lady. In addition, Peter has served on the local board for St. Mary's Villa. They volunteer with the ARC and with a special program to educate students on understanding children with disabilities. They are committee members with the Aaron Jessica Morrican Foundation and its Aaron Fund, which generates funds through the annual Tour de Scranton bike ride to assist women with expenses as they are recovering from addiction. Mary Carol is also a faithful alum of Marywood University, hosting student teachers in the past and now supporting its many events. With appreciation and admiration for their accomplishments and dedication, the Sisters of IHM Foundation proudly present the Spirit of IHM Award to Mr. Peter and Mrs. Mary Carol Canton. Please enjoy the video presentation, which will tell you even more about why they are so deserving.
So, Mary Carol and Pete Canton, a question for you. Since you're receiving the 7th Annual Sisters of the IHM Spirit Award, you were chosen very carefully as the prior 6 have been. Could you tell everybody a little bit, each of you individually, why serving and living the spirit and the mission of the IHM, why is it so important to you to live that, to have that in your life, and that you were given this award? The sisters saw that in you. Could you tell the audience a little bit about why it's so important to you?
Well, years and years ago, I needed the nuns I came from Buffalo with my first Holy Communion, and the priest said, no, you can't make it, you haven't been here long enough. And I was at St. Vincent's, and there was Sister Marguerite, Sister Dionysia, and Sister Anne Francis were there teaching catechism. And they said, oh, we'll take her, we'll take her, we'll get her through this. And they did. And after that, I became ill, and they also helped me through everything, and my family. And so I always then would go up and I would teach catechism from when I was 9 years old with them by my side. And I was always very grateful to them. And then when I came to Marywood, I didn't know what Sister Marguerite did at Marywood, but I came up the back steps and we started to walk through the rotunda, and she knew I was coming, and she came towards me in the rotunda, and that made my college, you know, and I was very grateful to her. She was always there for me, and I was very happy.
Broadly, all sisters, I would say, that they work, and people don't realize how hard they work and what they do. And I'm going to say, and what they do for the community, what they do for the project that they're involved in. They do a tremendous job, in my opinion anyway.
When you look at what a sister is like and the way they interact with the community, is there something special that you think you took from the way they taught you and how you lived your life as an adult and to this day?
Yes, they're caring. They're very caring, and they're sharing, and their service. And, you know, to everyone, every child, I noticed that the nuns would call you if you were in trouble or you needed some help or anything, and they call. And I know Sister Mary Alice. I was her first grade teacher, and I'm so proud of her, and she inspires me to this day. And Sister Cora Immaculata, to this day. I just got a call yesterday from a friend the son was re-diagnosed with cancer. Sister Cora called her and gave a poem to her. And then she called me and was saying, oh, Sister Cora called me. That's caring. I mean, you know, as Roberta said, I haven't seen Sister Cora in years, but she calls her every once in a while. And see, that's the caring that's there, and I think they have passed it on. I try very hard to care about everybody. We volunteer with any organization that needs us, and we like doing it. And I think what we give, we've gotten back. We've been very, very blessed.
How many children do you guys have?
Two.
Two boys, girls, one of
Two
each?
girls.
And do you feel as parents you've been able to carry that spirit to them, that if they were sitting here, would they be able to, you'd be able to talk about them as Pete talks about you and Mary Carol? Don't think I'm not going to ask you about this guy next to you. Do you feel, has that been helpful to you for what you've learned from the sisters to be a mom?
We have passed on to them the caring, and it has come out now without us even knowing it. Our two girls are very helpful. I got a letter a week ago from a friend that said, your daughter Colleen gave me a call. She wants to know what I need. She'll go and get it for me. And then another friend of mine called and said, your daughter called and said anything we need to give her a call. And that's caring. Mm-hmm. And then my other daughter also, she runs over to our house, anything we need, and I think we have passed on to them because the year we couldn't do St. Joe's, they were there and they organized it, and it's because they've been doing it with us. Yeah. And we do that with our children and now our grandchildren.
So what do you think is so special about this guy to your right? You think there's some information you want to tell everybody who might not know Pete, why he would be worthy of this award?
He'd do anything for anyone. He would help you out if no matter what. Yeah. I mean, he has hired people in his office because they need it. work. They lost their job, and he tells them, go get the course and come, and he has hired people and family, and he's one that our children, our grandchildren, they don't hesitate to ask him because they know he'll be there and he'll jump right in, and he'll do more than you ask. He'll do more than you ask.
Tell me about what this award that you're going to receive, what is something that you want to tell the audience, how it's made you feel when you got that call that you were the recipient?
I didn't understand it.
No?
I thought, oh, like, I think there are other people that do as much or more than we do. And I was very surprised. I mean, excited, like, it's it's something that the nuns, like, that'd be that's an award that we should really appreciate.
Mm-hmm. And you're not the only one. Everybody who I've interviewed, when they got it, they're very humbled, and they say someone else should have gotten it before us. But you have to realize that it's an honor and a privilege to have someone like the sisters who look at the work you've done in this community, and you live their spirit for them to pick you. So it's truly an honor. When you got the call, Pete, when I don't know if they called you or if Mary Carol gave you the word, what went through your mind?
Oh, Carol gave me the word, but again, I was surprised. I was pleased. But in the same sense, I didn't know that much about it. Mm-hmm. I did some research. I think there was one that I caught my name. I think it was Dr. Cognetti. I think got it last year, if I'm correct.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate everything. Did you want to say something else, Peter?
Well, I was just going to say thank you very much for the award.
Thank you very much, and we will continue to give blessings to the nuns and continue to work for them, anything they want. All they have to do is call, either one of us. And now our children also, because they will also, and our grandchildren. We have 4 grandchildren, and for years they've worked up at St. Joe's with us, and we do a Morgan bike ride, and our grandson helps us with that. He's the Segway. And what else? Marywood, our granddaughter, for years has been helping me with the Breakfast with Santa. Before she went to college even, she would help. And so we try to get them involved. And you have to get them involved young. Yep. And that's what we need now, is more young people involved in all the fundraisers, especially with the nuns. And thank you very much.
The 2020 Sisters of IHM Spirit Award is presented to Mary Carol and Peter Canton in appreciation for a life of faith and commitment to the cherished values of the IHM Sisters.
I don't need a spotlight. I don't need a crowd. I don't need the great wide world to shout my name out loud. Don't need fame or fortune, nice as those things are. I've got all I need to feel like I'm a star. I've got my sisters by my side. I've got my sisters' love and pride. And in my sisters' eyes, I recognize the star I want to be. And with my sisters standing strong, I'm on the stage where I belong. And nothing's ever gonna change that fact. I'm part of one terrific sister act. And yes, I love that spotlight. Yes, I crave acclaim. I'll admit I love the sound when strangers scream my name. All that glitz and glamour, they're all right, no doubt. But what are you left with when the lights go out? I'll have my sisters with me still. I'll have my sisters, always will. And with my sisters' love, no star above will shine as bright as me. And as a sister and a friend, I'll be a sister till the end. And no one on this earth can change that fact. I'm part of one terrific sister act. Take me to heaven. Take me to paradise.
Receive my humble prayer. The faith that I bear, accept my sacrifice.
Take all my heart and soul, my joy and love.
I am ready, sweet Lord above.
Take me, take me, take me, take me, take me, take me, take me.
I've got my sisters by my side. I've got my sisters' love and pride. And with my sisters here, I have no fear. I'm right where I should be. And with my sisters in my heart, I know we'll never be apart. And no one on this earth can change that fact. My brave sisters, my sweet sisters, my strong sisters, all my loving sisters. I'm part of one terrific sister act.
I thank all who generously gave to make this program possible, and especially for you for being with us. I certainly hope you enjoyed the program and will continue to love and support the IHM mission alive in you. You may have picked up a little more history and a little more IHM spirit tonight. So please continue to help support our IHM sisters. We thank you, and God bless you.